Have you ever been given a gift and you're not really sure if you like it? You'd really quite like to take it back to the shop. You're not quite sure even what to do with it, but it's been given to you by somebody that you love, and therefore you feel like you've got to receive it. Well, I think I said to you before that I'm giving gifts every now and again, and I'm giving them for all sorts of reasons. But without explanation, I was given this gift a couple of years ago, and quite frankly, I think it's absolutely gross. I'm sorry if I offend you and you think, well, no, actually, I really like it. And to make matters worse, it's actually a money box. And of course, the thing is, I absolutely love Jesus. I just don't like the way that he's been presented in this form. And so he sits on my shelf, and I'm not quite sure what to do with him because he's been given to me by somebody that I love. But I actually think that that's a really good illustration of the way in which we see our gifts that God has given us. And sometimes, we people tell us and they say, "Oh, you've got the spiritual gift of administration or hospitality, or you've got a real spiritual gift of wisdom." And we go, "No, I haven't. It's just really ordinary to me. Cooking's dead easy. I don't think I'm ever wise. Administration comes so easily to me." And so often we underplay the spiritual gifts, the gifts that God's given us. We underplay them because to us they're ordinary, but to other people they're extraordinary. And often what we want to do as well is to swap the gifts because somehow we think that other gifts are more glamorous than the ones that we've got. So we might look, for example, in 1 Corinthians, and we look and we think, oh, I should have the gift of prophecy, and one day God will give it to me as a bit of a reward, or I should be able to discern one spirit from another, be given the gift of tongues, because clearly, that means that I've sort of reached this higher echelon of faith and pleasure with God. And it's almost like we rank gifts, and also I think we almost like mysticize some gifts as though they are more glamorous than others. A gift is a gift is a gift. And frankly, if I'm running conferences and things like that, then I will go in and I'll clean the toilets. I want them to be well provided for and clean for our guests. And I think that is a spiritual gift, because what I'm doing is I'm doing what I can for God so that in one way or another we can advance the kingdom, me working with God, or in another way that he is going to use that platform to be able to speak the gospel. Whatever it would be, it's a gift to God. So sometimes actually we if you like, spiritualize our gifts and sort of make out that the ordinary things of life aren't actually spiritual, but anything that's given to God as an act of love towards him, and therefore through that an act of love towards other people, then that is a spiritual gift. Rather like the boy in John 6 in John's Gospel, and he gave Jesus what he had, and that was 2 fish and 5 loaves, and God lifted them and he thanked God for them, and then all of a sudden, those few bits of a gift from that young boy fed absolutely thousands and thousands of people. A few years ago we went to New Wine, and there were a couple there, and they kept going out and handing around homemade cakes and tray bakes and things like that. It was just brilliant. I mean, I don't bake, and I love homemade cooking and homemade baking, and they kept coming round. And then one afternoon they said, I think we'll go on a seminar, and I think we'll go on the one about the gift of hospitality. And we all laughed. It's like, well, don't you realise that you've got that gift? It's just like, it's all, that's just an ordinary thing, too ordinary to be seen as spiritual. So of course they came back after the seminar and they went, yay, we've got the spiritual gift of hospitality, as if nobody knew it. Of course we knew it. So maybe what we want to do is, ask other people and say, well, what are your gifts? And hear what they say, and actually, go, okay, God, well, that's from you. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use it in one way or another, and not to grade the gifts, and not to see them somehow as a reward as well, because God does not reward us in this way. He really doesn't. Those gifts are put in us when we give our lives to Jesus, and some of the gifts, they're just an inherent expression of our creativity, and they always can be seen as spiritual. So have a check out of 1 Corinthians and 12 and Romans 12 as well. But you know, when you scout through the Bible, you just see that God is exercising gifts through people in all sorts of extremely ordinary ways. And yet they become extraordinary when they're placed into his hands. So if you fancy giving me some cake, I'm always up for that. Other than that, have a great day.